Hey everybody, this is Joey up here. I have received a lot of emails asking me how do I cope with working from home now that the movement control order is in place and a lot of Malaysians and possibly a lot of people around the world are forced to work from home, and this is like the new norm. Now, working from home, it's not a new thing for me because for many years I've been writing my books and writing my courses, doing a lot of online consultations actually from my home office. So I thought I might want to share a few tips here on how you too can maybe follow some of these ways that I use and possibly help you become more productive. Okay, so before that, please remember to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to get notification whenever a new video is released. When it comes to working from home, I have to put in 5 specific things that I think that I have been doing for some time. I just need to formulate it into a list that is useful for everyone here. Okay, so working from home, it basically requires a lot of discipline, I think, for a lot of people because they're not used to it. They have kids around, and then they have phones, and then they have their mothers around, or parents around. So it's not so easy. So if you just try to perhaps follow these 5 steps, maybe you can become more productive and actually turn this MCO period into something that can propel you forward the moment things go back to normal. Okay, so let's have a look at these 5 steps today. So the first thing is extremely important is to separate your work and your home. Now, I know that you're working from home. A lot of people actually use it their bedrooms or their dining rooms and so forth, but you gotta have to have a specific space. Now, of course, we in Feng Shui, we particularly like to select a position where there is a particular star this year that we could use, and or for those who use long-term Feng Shui, we select an area that is that we are productive in that area, so our thoughts run freely and we become more imaginative and we come up with solutions instead of being depressed and unhappy all the time. So the basic Feng Shui is required, but if not, at least you must know that there must be one dedicated area that if you go into this area, you'll be working. Okay, so I actually have a home office which I have been using for many years now. Even when I move to a new place, I always dedicate 1 or 2 areas that I will specifically work. So for me, I have an office where I do my thinking, I do my writing, I do my consultations from, and then there's another area called the studio. Like you're seeing right now, here is my home studio right now. So I'm actually filming this from home. So I set this up. The cameras can move around. This table can rise and I can actually sit down here. I'll raise it up. I have notes here with me. So this is something that suits what I do. Now, I know that not all businesses can actually operate from home, but I think a lot of thinking, strategizing, communications, that can be done from home. I think in all businesses requires thinking and strategies, right? Not everything happens outside, right? You got to think about where you want to lead your business to. Some people say, don't bring your work back home. For me, it's always been work-life integration. So it's been quite normal for me to actually do my work, and I don't have some issues with working from home and in the first place. All right, and now this is the new norm. All right, so the second thing I think extremely important for you guys is a dedicated schedule. Okay, now back when things are normal, right, there are days that I will be in the office where I talk to my team and communicate with them, and then there will be days that I actually work just from home because for me, I need a little bit of a quiet time where I can do my books and write my stuff. Okay, so right now everybody's working from home, so you gotta have a schedule as if you're going to work. So when you go into your workspace, make sure that when you go into this workspace, you know that you're gonna do things and not go there and just like do nothing and try and watch Netflix or all that. Okay, you gotta have a dedicated schedule. And number 3, it's extremely important that you assign to yourself the projects that you're working on and what are the measurements. This is important. If you don't have the projects, that are outlined, what are you working on in the first place, that is pasted, into next to your computer or on the wall next to you. You don't know what you're working on, you'll be, not doing anything productive. This is very, very, very important. For me, I have various projects that's running. Okay, some are associated with the books that I'm writing, the courses that I'm writing, or the things that I want to be filming, or the events that I'm going to be heading after, when things go back to normal. Or the online program. So I have various projects from various departments, and then I need my team to be working on that and to give me constant updates. So when I have a dedicated schedule, I know the measurements of the projects that I need, then things get done. This is very important, okay? So if you are working from home and you don't have number 3, it's going to be a big problem, all right? Every day you wake up, you don't know what time you want to wake up, and you're just going to be, you don't be too relaxed. That's the key here, okay? So number 4, this is so important, online meetings with the team. Communication is extremely important with between you and your team, or your vendors. For me, it will be with my those who are working behind the scenes. They are editing, for example, those who are helping with the edits of the books, those who are doing the sales. We need to have constant meetings. Okay, now you can do that through Zoom, right? You can do that through Skype. There are many ways you can get connected these days, but I do recommend once early in the morning. Okay, now this is important, especially I think here from Malaysia. If you don't do the morning meeting, a lot of people just wake up at 12 o'clock. Okay, so you got to have a morning meeting where everyone is there. Now, there is no excuse to be late for an online meeting. There's no traffic jam, right? So if they are late for an online meeting, that says a lot about their work ethics. Okay, so you got to be there for the online meeting. You got to have an agenda, what you want to talk about. My suggestion is always do 3 things. Okay, number 1 is what's the good that happened, right? Share some good news. Number 2 is what are the challenges that happen. Number 3, what awaits management's decisions. Okay, there are 3 things that it's very important that we go through at every meeting. At the end of the day, you have a group huddle, meaning all the key group members or the key team leaders. Now, if you don't have one, then you are it, all right? So you got to have a team huddle where everyone summarizes what they've done for the day. Now, you will see that there'll be some people in the team that like fluff. So they're going to write, oh, I've been so busy doing this, and a lot of this are shit, right? So you got to filter through the fluff and see what are the real things that are done. So that's how you actually do a meeting, and you got to do it every single day. Okay, so you may say, no, why? That's time consuming. What can be more time consuming than sleeping, right? So it's better you have the meetings to make sure things are running, and you can do that online with your team. If you schedule it in, it gets done. And finally, this is the most difficult part if you are forced to work from home. It's the execution. Everybody says they're working from home. What they're really doing is going online, doing some search and watching YouTube, right? So unless there are execution, unless there are things that get done. So when you say you're measuring something, at the end of the day, someone has to do something to make something happen, all right? Checks got to get signed, collections, right? Events get delivered. How do you actually deliver this thing, okay? So if you do not execute it, then nothing happens. All this will be a waste at the end of the day. Okay, so my suggestion is that if you need to do just one thing, you got to remember the execution. The end result is something needs to get done. All right, so remember, if you are leaders of the team or leaders of the organization, remember, make shit happen. Don't wait for shit to happen. Okay, now there is a movement control order, I think, across the world, and some places are in complete lockdown, but that does not mean you can't do anything. Okay, if you have to work from home, and eventually in future people do work from home, so you got to do all these 5 things anyway. All right, so I wish you all the best, and enjoy the process and make lots of progress while at home. And if you enjoyed what you've seen, please leave me a comment and what sort of videos you would like me to film. And make sure you click on the subscribe button and click on the bell icon to get notification on future videos.